Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this segment of Emerge and Empower with your host, Dr. Lynn J. How are you doing today? I pray that you are well, you and your family. Hi, how y'all doing? I miss y'all. I really do. And I love the feedback that I've been getting from each and every one of you. Always encourage, always share your thoughts, what topics that you would like to hear here on Emerge and Empower. All right. It is indeed a blessing indeed to be able to come to you in your car, your workspace, at home, wherever you are, when you tune in. So go ahead and share. Tell your friends that Dr. Lynn J is on with Emerge and Empower. And I must remind you that Emerge and Empower is a platform for people to come on and share your stories, men and women, teenagers, everyone is welcome to come on here and share your stories on how you've emerged, how you've come away from where you've been in a situation. We welcome your testimonies. We welcome you sharing your growth with us. Now, the whole basis for Emerge and Empower is to help those who have come from a traumatic past or a traumatic experience and to show you that there is indeed life after trauma. Now, it takes time to heal, so don't listen to people who put a time limit on healing, all right? Just like with grieving, there is no time limit on it, but you must realize that something is wrong in order for it to be fixed. All right. So once we own to it, then we are on the journey to healing. So today's topic, I really want to share with you as I will be coming back after we go to our opening intro here is nothing is achieved without work. Nothing is achieved without work. We had to sweat it out. We had to do what was necessary. There was a lot of failures, but when really not failures, but you just try things out, test them out to see if it worked. And when you found it didn't work, to just go back to the drawing board and do it again. So again, today's topic is what? Nothing is achieved without work. Amen. Blessings to you, and we'll be right back. Welcome to Emerge and Empower, the podcast where we delve into stories of resilience, triumph, and personal growth. I'm your host, Dr. Lynn J, and I'm thrilled to be your guide on this journey of empowerment. Each episode, we bring you inspiring conversations with individuals who have faced challenges head on, emerged stronger, and are now making a positive impact in their communities. Whether it's overcoming adversity, pursuing passions, or navigating the twists and turns of life, our guests share the valuable insights and lessons. Yes, yes, yes. And that is Emerge and Empower. Something good is going to happen in this year. And you see it, you see it, you see it. It's just happening and happening and happening. And we truly thank God for his mercies towards us and how this year have started. Now we are in month three of 2024. And we indeed thanking God for his blessings and what he is doing with our life and the platforms that he is open. All right, the platforms that he has also opened. So Emergent and Power also have a magazine. They both launch in the same month of January. So I do encourage you to partake, share your stories, your highlights, your business. We can also do your spots, your commercials, your ads, all right, and share it with our audience, all right? Emerge and Empower is the platform for you, for your business, all right? So let's dive right into the topic. The last time I came on, I was talking about being burned out. Now, we can get burned out because we're trying to juggle so many things at the same time. But today I want to talk about the stressors because we also deal with stress, right? We deal with stress through work, stress through our thoughts, emotions, relationships. Stress come in different ways and various ways. For me, I don't consider myself a stressed out person, but my body says otherwise. My body speaks different because I suffer from headaches, and it's because I put stress on my body. Not sleeping enough. I usually, on average, get 4 hours sleep. I work mostly late in the night. All right. So when the whole house is asleep, that is when I can work. Even though I'm home during the day, it's like I can't really get myself to calm down enough to really think and create. My creative times is early in the morning, right at the dawn of the day or the late of the night, coming into 1, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., right? In the early parts of the morning. And that's when I'm more creative. My thoughts are going, and I'm writing things down because I find it's necessary to do so. But what you must understand is nothing is achieved without work. In order to achieve anything, you need to put the work in. If you're an athlete, you have to put the work in. If you're a wrestler, you have to put the work in. You're a teacher, you have to put the work in. You're a doctor, you have to put the work in. It is the extensive hours, all right, that you put in there and the repetitiveness of what you do that actually cause you to be very, very skillful and professional in your given uh, duties, your given titles, your given platforms, or the different things that you do. And I would like to go to a scripture here because this scripture has blessed me this week, which is Nehemiah 4, verse 6, that says, "At last the wall was completed to half its height around the entire city, for the people had worked with enthusiasm." So they worked their way through. Now, when they worked, they had enemies, they had opposition, they had those who did not want them to succeed. All right. So therefore, as Nehemiah was the leader and he had permission from the king to go ahead and build the wall of Jerusalem again, because the people was in captive and a lot of people was going back home. But when they back home, they found that the city was in ruin, so they had to go and rebuild, all right, and restructure. And the first thing that they found to do was now to build a wall for their defense, for their protection. So now, if you know the story, it talks about Sambalit and Tobijah, who were coming against them like, over my dead body, this is not going to happen, mocking them, telling them it's not going to happen. Do you have people like that in your life? As you are creating or trying to do things and they're telling you, no, this is not going to happen. Maybe they're not voicing it, but they're doing things to retard you, to slow you down. Okay. They are doing things to disable you. All right. So that you do not continue. And they're doing it behind the scenes. So most times you're not even aware that somebody is the reason for your failures. All right. Is the reason why things hasn't worked. Is the reason why you already signed a contract, but then that contract become null and void, or somebody backed out of a deal. It is because most of the time there's somebody who's against you. So and so came here and they go to change it, or you had great reviews and someone was ready to sign with you. Let's put it that way. They were ready to sign with you, and all of a sudden everything changed. Right? Everything changed. So there are those who will go against your work. All right. I've seen TikTok videos, and I'm sure you've seen it too, where they show that they're pouring water into a bucket, but the water is going through the hole. And this person is not even wise enough to realize, wait a minute, you know what? You could be here all day trying to fill this bucket. That type of hard work, that type of hard work is a waste of time, because from the beginning, it is just draining. It's just going, the water is supposed to be building and filling the bucket, but instead it's draining. So we need to also have discernment when we go into our businesses, business partners, our relationship, all of these different things. So everything in life, we have to work hard at it, right? We have to work hard at everything that we do in order for it to succeed. It says try and you will succeed. All right. A lot of prototypes were created, but before they really came into 100% functioning, they went through what we call failures, tries. Okay, let's try this. It didn't work. Let's go back to the drawing board and get this going. So certainly hard work encompasses several elements that contribute to success. So, first thing we need to look at is dedication. You need to be dedicated to what it is that you are focused on. You cannot do it without dedication. All right. You can't just say, okay, I feel like doing it today, and then go sleep and say, yeah, I'll try again tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes, and next thing you know, it's 3 months later, a year later, 2 years later of you having a great idea, but you are not dedicated to it. First, it takes dedication. You must be committed to this. You must believe. I mean, you can't sell something if you don't believe in it. All right. You have to believe in it. Like there's a lot of things that people offer to me. Hey, sell this, but I need to believe in the product. I cannot sell in a product that I don't believe or I didn't try for myself personally. All right. I need to try it first and tell you, yes, it worked because it worked for me. And because it worked for me and I went through all the kinks, all right, now I can guide you. Now, you might have noticed that I also launched a travel business. All right, I launched a soft launch travel business on Saturday, helping others, but I didn't want to just sell, okay? Sell flights, cruises, car insurance, any of not just that, but I want to be able to grow the business with partners, right? So if I help you instead of giving you the fish, I'm teaching you how to fish. I believe in teaching so that it's okay if you surpass me. All right. I have mentored many people who have gone on to do great things, great things. All right. So it started with the simple ABCs, one, two, threes in a startup. All right. So before you could get to any major algorithm, you needed to know arithmetic. You needed to know subtraction, multiplication, and short division before you can get into long division. All right. So these are different things that you needed to do, but you needed to work somewhere. Children go to school starting from preschool, learning how to count, learning how to read, getting themselves in that environment, getting up every day, the parents sending them off to school. And those who are homeschooled, they also have to be committed and dedicated so that their children can succeed. But it starts with elementary phases as it grows. All right. So we have to know the basics in order to succeed in anything that we do. The first thing is to lay a foundation. To me and to you, that foundation comes with dedication. All right. You need to be dedicated to what you believe in and you start with it. All right. Here's where I'm going to start. Here's A, B, C, D, and keep going. Sometimes you got to go back to the drawing board in order for you to continue and be succeed. All right. Because with dedication, sometimes you might also get distraction. All right. There will be distractions. Life happen. How many people started something and a business, or you had great plans and life happened? Life happened and everything changed. Maybe it's a death in the family, loss of your income. There is different things that can be distracting, or even yourself because you're not focused and you're shifty and you're not sure of what it is that you want to do. That is considered a distraction. All right. Hello. Hello. Let's focus. That's what it comes with. Focus. Focus, focus, focus. And now that you're focused, where do you want to start? Let's start. All right. So this is me coaching you right now. This is a coaching moment with you. We need to figure out what it is that you need to do and let's just implement. What will it take to get this off the ground? All right. So that takes hard work. That takes going to the drawing board, putting everything in place and getting it going. Secondly, we look at persistent. Oh my God. You need to be persistent in what you're doing. You need to believe it. You need to keep going. I'm getting up. I'm doing this. I'm pushing. I'm pushing. I'm pushing. I'm trying. I'm retrying. I'm sampling, okay, till you get it right. Even those, we've seen so many creams and lotions and so many things that people offer. Every time you open up TikTok, somebody's selling some cream, somebody's selling this. But before it got into that bottle and was packaged, all right, so that people can say, oh my God, this is good. You need to try this. Someone had to stay to the drawing board, stay up late, get the ingredients together. All right, make sure everything worked. This didn't work. Try this. You had to keep going and persisting until you achieve the end result. All right, until you receive the end result. And even when you get that, you're already thinking ahead. What can I do next? If it's something that comes with flavors, maybe you started with vanilla, now you need to go to strawberry, and then you're going to get into the tropical flavors, then you're going to get into different scents. Okay, so that comes with lotion, that comes with soaps, that comes with anything that we're doing. You need to create. You start first off with the basic, and from that basic you keep adding onto it and making it better. All right. So you have to be persistent, like constant. Let's go. I got to get up. Even if I don't feel like it, I got to get up. Let's go, let's go, let's go. We got to push hard so we can succeed. I can even take you to many races that you see on the news, on TikTok stories that they show you that people along the way fell and they got up and pushed through the pain because they wanted to reach the finish line. All right. So you have to believe in it and you have to be persistent. Next one is consistency. Oh my God, you got to be consistent. You have to be like, if you're using social media, you have to constantly keep dropping content, keep dropping content. You have to be what consistent. People want to see it. They want to see it. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. You can't just drop it here and then a year later, 2 months later. No, you have to be consistent, consistent, consistent. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And that way, you know what? That's also building you. You know what? I got to get up. I got to do this because you know what? There are people waiting on this. So I need to push through, push through, push through. All right. So you have to be first determined. All right. You also have to be persistent. And now we're talking about consistency. The next thing is continuous learning. Oh my God. I said that already. You're going to keep learning, keep building, and keep pushing so things can get better and better and better each time. All right. So keep learning. Like for me, for example, I've gone to so many theological schools and seminaries. All right. It started from I was, well, let's go back to high school. All right. In high school, I was in religious studies. From religious studies, I went into group lessons, different things like that I did. All right. All of these things, as I did them, I found that I love religious studies. I was already teaching Sunday school and I was learning everything that I learned. I was able to share. Once that was done, I went into the Church of God MIP program, which is the ministerial internship program. I did that for a year, you know, graduated, finished off with that in the Bahamas. And after that, I still continued, even though I went to Success Training College and I went to other places. But I knew that since a major part of my life is teaching, on the ministry level, I kept learning things in a ministry level and also learning other things that can help me in my everyday life for my job and the different things that I'm doing. So I've gone from seminary to seminary. I went to NCT Biblique, which is also a French school. Don't ask me how I graduated, how I understood everything. The Holy Spirit would help you. I did 2 years with them. I went to Maranatha College. I went to Harvest Reapers. So why is that? Because I am constantly learning and I'm reading and I'm understanding and I'm going back to the drawing board because every teacher that you go to, you learn something different from them. So I love learning and learning and learning. So as I'm learning, even as a medical transcriptionist for 26 years in the medical field, I was constantly learning. I went from learning pathology to cardiology to radiology. You're going to start learning the different phases because there's always more. There's always more. And since I went for more, I decided I'm going to go to school to be a histology technician because that was next to what I was already doing is transcription. I'm already transcribing the documents. I'm already working with the pathologist. Okay, let me go into this. They said, Linda, you have an eye for this. So I decided to go to Miami-Dade, all right, for histology. But during that process, I realized, you know what? That's not where my heart is. That's not where my joy is. And I got to a point in my life, I realized, you know what? I need to do what make me happy, what brings joy to me, what is more rewarding to me instead of doing things, being frustrated and not happy, trying to chase the dollar, which is constant. The bills keep coming. All right. The more money you make, the more bills you seem to pile up and add. And all of these things was happening. So, you know what? That's how come I got to a point, like I shared in my last episode, how I became burned out because I was doing so much here, everywhere. All right, trying to do it all. Yes, I wear many hats. I had to learn each one. All right, had to learn each one, perfect it, and then move on to the next. So learning is key to hard work and success. All right, not just one step. You keep climbing. All right, keep climbing, keep growing. All right. And we hear the cliche all the time that says knowledge is power. And I used to believe that for a long time. So I kept learning and learning and learning. But that's not true. Application of what you learn is what's powerful. Because there's a lot of people right now dead in the cemetery who went with a lot of knowledge that they never applied it. There was no power there. All right. So knowledge isn't power, it's application. All right, being determined, being persistent, and being constant. And those are what help you succeed, what cause people to call you a professional at what you do, because in the beginning it was intermediate. All right. And as you learn, you have perfected it. Not only have you perfected it, now your price has also changed. All right. It changed because now you are skilled in what you do, but you put in the work to achieve that. All right. So clap for yourself. Congratulations for all the things that you have achieved and all the things that you are still working on. All right. To continue. I applaud you. Congratulations. So I know working hard now, oh my God, it's hard. Sometimes you're like, oh my God, I'm tired. I can't. But then you know that you have a goal. Like I set goals for myself, from I was a young girl, I set goals. By this time, here's what need to happen. By this time, here's what need to happen. So I keep setting these goals, all right? And I make them realistic. I said, okay, I cannot do it all in a year. So if it's a 5-year goal, here's where I need to be in 5 years. 10-year goal, here's where I need to be in 10 years. And as I get closer to that, I remember what I say and I focus on that because these are my personal goals. I set them for myself. All right. These are my personal goals. So I set these personal goals for myself. All right. And so we have to be constant with doing what is necessary. All right. So, yes, I know it's not easy, but you shouldn't quit. All right. If you haven't started it yet, start. If you're midway, keep going. If you're almost there and it seems so hard, come on, almost. It doesn't take much more. Keep pushing. Keep learning. Keep perfecting. All right. Keep perfecting. All right. Let's go to efficiency. You have to work hard and work smart because now you have to make sure that it's effective. Work smart. All right. We talked about the person in the beginning pouring water into a bucket that had holes. That is not working smart. All right. So work smart. If you try it and you see that it's not working, change the way, change the game, change the layout, change whatever it is you need to do. Change it. All right. Work smart. Don't work hard and there's no success. Work hard and work smart. All right. Work smart. I'm going to use a season 2020 during the COVID time, which was major around the world, right? Major shifts, major change in people's life, especially for young children, who didn't go through, didn't know pain, suffering, and now, what parents can't, they're not working, they can't afford certain things anymore, so all of this is happening, right? I also had a segment that I called If You Come Out of COVID, with this all this time that we have on our hands and you did not pick up something that you always wanted to do because you have time on your hands, you have time to work it, you have time to study it, you have time to evolve and dream, get your hustle going. All right. So during COVID, the hustler in me came out. And because it was working for me, I was challenging people. As I was coaching those, I said, hey, you always wanted to be a chef, but you was waiting for a brick and mortar building. But hey, here's an opportunity for you. All right. Start making meals at home. Put your flyer out there. Tell them this Friday you having this going on. And this young lady started doing that. And guess what? The job only called her for 2 days in a week because of COVID. There was not really much people coming into the company. So therefore now she's working on her own craft. Out of that, she started catering, doing parties, different things like that. And it was hard work because she was doing it all alone. Then she added her husband and friends. And now she has every other Saturday, she has something out at her home. People come out, just have a good time. They're eating, and she's still catering. People are calling her. All right. I had people that was selling oils, soaps, different things like that. I myself was making face masks. When Amazon, you had to wait 60 days to get face masks. I needed it for my family. I created them for my children. I remember that story. That story is something else. They usually go to the McDonald's next to the church, and they need a face mask to go in. So the next Sunday, I said, you know what, Sunday's coming. They're going to need to go to McDonald's or wherever they need to go. So I went to Walmart and I got little small fabrics, and I got different colors that I think everyone would like. And that Saturday night, I sat in the front of the sewing machine and said, I'm going to make face masks. Now, mind you, I never made a face mask. So I watched some YouTube videos trying to see the most simplest one that I can make. And it took me about an hour or 2 hours before I said, okay, I'm going to go with this particular pattern. And then after that, here's the thing: I never made it. I was so excited about sewing. Sometimes I was sewing inside out. You know, it wasn't until my third mask that I got it right. I cut out my pattern, I cut out my shape, did my measurement. All right, I became an architect in that day, and I was able to now create face masks, and I made them for adults and I made them for children. At the time, everyone was selling face masks. I think it was $12. I had the triple layer in them, and I bought the elastic bands that matched the color. So mine was, stylish. And I made it for the children. But as I was making it, I'm a believer, and the Holy Spirit says, "Why don't you make more?" So instead of making one of each, I made three of each. And as I made three of each, I said, "Oh, I still have more fabric. Let me just make enough so that each of these styles would have, different ones." So sometimes I end up with like 10 and one, 12 and one, because some fabric was a little bit more. Instead of a quarter yard, and maybe I had a half a yard. So I started working from 8 p.m. that Saturday night. And once I'm done, I'm also ironing because I love to iron. I even iron clothes that come from the dry cleaners when they have the hanger marks. That's me. I'm a perfectionist. I don't like wrinkles in clothes, and I don't go to photographers who say, "Oh, you can wear the wrinkle and we'll fix that." No, I come steamed, pressed, and ready. So I was ironing them, spraying it with sanitizer, prayed over them with my prayer oil. I said, everybody who buy this, they will not be sick. I'm believing, and you know what? I'm praying over them. And then you know what I got? Those candy bags that you put, the little treat bags. So I went to the store and they had like a treat bag. I think there was like 20 in the bag. So I used the treat bags and I put the mask in them and used the ties and tied them, and I put them up. Now at this time you don't want people in your house, so I had a little stand. Um, I went ahead of myself. I went ahead of myself. The next morning, it was 8:30 a.m. My husband comes out and goes, "Did you sleep last night?" I'm like, "What time is it?" I did not sleep. I made 150 face masks. It might seem foolish at the time, but I was driven. That's called hard work. My kids woke up. I had them all laid out, nice and pressed, everyone according to their color. I made ones for my granddaughters. They choose their choices. Then my daughter goes to church, and everybody's like, "Where did you get that?" Mom have them. So she goes home to get all the face masks that I had made at home. Everyone at church wanted one. We're in a building that had other churches. They saw them with face masks. They wanted one. And so I kid you not, my daughter posted on Facebook, and people started inboxing her because she tagged me, inboxing me. "I want one. I want this color." By 8 p.m. that night, all of my face masks were sold. Now, I knew everyone was selling the adult ones for $12 and kids for $8. I sold adult for $8, kids for $3. Now, if you wanted it kind of fancy, the more expensive fabric, those are the ones I sold for $10. I went against the competition because I was like, I just want people to be well. I go back to Walmart that night. There's no more fabric because a lot of people are already buying. The next morning, I go to Joann's, buy lots of fabric. And I was making face masks. As I was making them, they were selling out. All right. This went on for 30 to 45 days. People who had funerals, and you can only have 50 people. Someone who had an abundance who were making them. They see that I was making them. They said, "Hey, I have a client. They need face masks. Can you help?" And I made 50, 100. I was making for weddings and funerals. I made the ones for the funerals. I made the men's on almost like a what you call that suit, tux, like a tux style, right? And the women on, I made them on lace, so you could tell the difference between what was male, what was female. I was getting creative, so that was the hustle. But I worked hard, and it paid off. How did it pay off? When I counted my money, okay, I made about $8,000 in 45 days. Mm-hmm. I worked hard. At the time, I was even doing Uber. I stopped doing Uber because I needed to stay home to make these face masks. Supply and demand. All right. There's many other women that I helped and men during COVID, and now they have a striving business. They always wanted to. And I said, okay, turn your hustle, work on your hustle. And now their business is out of it. All right. So work hard and work smart. And it didn't stop there. I always wanted to write, and I couldn't fund it because prior to this, I had already went 3.5 years without working. So when I got into Uber just 2 weeks before the pandemic started. All right. And so I had my sanitizer, my sprays, and I was doing all of that, keeping my car clean. I only drove during the day. All right. That was my hustle. It was bringing me about $600 or $700 a week. So, of course, when I went to the face mask, I've already replaced that. So I stayed with creating the face mask. Some days I just want to get out of the house. I got out and said, I'm going to drive for an hour or two, make maybe $100 a day. I started doing that. I said, I don't have to work so hard, do local routes. So I did this during the pandemic. I did not get COVID. No one in my house got COVID. And I'm not going to lie to you, everyone who came to my house and bought a face mask, nobody in their house got COVID. All right. I had people coming back. I need more. My cousins need some. All right. People who don't know me. But I put a stand in the front of my door. So they came in. I said, don't touch. You can look, but don't touch. They came in the door. Some people I was curbside delivering. All right. So as a result of the funds, I was able to put out my first book called She Merchants, I Am She. I think I have a copy right here. Let's see. Yep, I do. My first book, She Merchants, I Am She. And when it first came out, it was in blue. Here it is. All right. She Merchants, I Am She. I was able to pay for this, pay for the cover. I spent a lot of money before I got it right, because sometimes some people tell you they can help you, but they can't. All right. And so when I updated it, I changed them in different colors. So this is the English now. The French version of it is in purple, French, and I have the Spanish version in orange, but I don't think I have one right here. Yeah, I don't have one right here. But that didn't stop, and I kept writing. As you know, in 3 years, I wrote 8 books. All right? You have to believe and work hard. It took sleepless nights. Because remember, I told you, my creative juices don't start flowing until the early a.m. So this is when I'm working. I didn't have a typewriter. I used my phone. So that was hard work. All right? That was hard work. All right? So keep learning. Efficiency. And passion. That was my drive. Passion. I was passionate. And I believed in what I was doing. So you must be passionate because that's what will bring determination, that you are enthused, that you want to be consistent because you're passionate about what you're doing. All right. And in the end, resilience. All right. Hard work requires what? Resilience. You got to bounce back. There's going to be things that's going to come along the way, but you need to be resilient, get up, push beyond that, push beyond it. You got to push beyond it. So let's go back to Nehemiah 4 and 6. It says, "At last the wall was completed to half its height around the entire city, for the people had worked with enthusiasm." Now it talks about Judah's enemies mocked them and tried to scare them. They claimed that the wall the people of Judah was rebuilding around Jerusalem was useless. People will say what you're doing is useless. All right. Nehemiah found this mocking very offensive because he believed in it. This is my passion. All right. This is for my people. All right. And he saw them as blasphemous. So the Lord gave him orders to complete the task. So once you have the order to complete the task, the means to complete the task, complete it. Forget what people are saying, the naysayers, forget all of them. Forget all of them. Forget who you thought was going to help you, and now they back off. Because a lot of people, the reason why you didn't continue because those who were supposed to be helping you, they didn't really help. They said they would, and they weren't your customers. All of that is what caused a lot of people to back off because they're not supporting me. They were like, listen, it's not for them. There's other people that can help you. All right? It's for others. The reason why we tend to not succeed is we're thinking about us, our friends, our family. Listen, all right? You got to go beyond those people. Go beyond some of those jokers, I call them. Because there's a lot of people who are going to mock you. They're going to tell you, if I were you, I wouldn't have done that. I say this all the time. You aren't me. You're not me. You're not me. So don't say if I were you. Exactly. You're not me. So I have God's authorization to move. I'm going to move. I even have it in my relationship. All right. If I got to do it, I'm going to do it. You don't have to believe. My husband is one who tends, like in the beginning, he used to be like, go ahead. If it succeed, is what he'd say. If it succeed, yeah, I'll be there. So he comes in at the end of it and go like, yeah, I was there. I was supporting her. Please, please. Okay, please. All right, so Nehemiah inspired the people of Judea that they carry on with the work. Don't care what's going on, let's work. And finally succeeded in their goal because their hearts were in the work. They prove once again that nothing can be achieved without hard work. Now, here's what was also happening. Because they had enemies coming to attack them, they also worked with a weapon in hand. So they were working and watching out for the enemy. They were working and watching out for the enemy. They had weapon if the enemy come to attack. So they were doing two jobs at once. All right? But it didn't stop them. They got a rifle in hand or a sword in hand, and they're laying bricks with the next hand. They stayed consistent. All right? So it is necessary. Hard work is necessary. Amen. To achieve your goals. Hard work is necessary to achieve your goals. I forgot to put this up here. Let's put it up here. Nothing is achieved without work. Got to put in the work. Relationships, partnerships, all the ships. You got to put in the work. You got to put in the work. All right. You got to put in the work. I think the song says, no, nothing said it would be easy. Okay. You know what it would take to accomplish it. You know what is required to get the job done. You know how many employees you need to get the work done on time. You cannot do it alone when you have supply and demand. Because all you're going to do is end up being stressed out, burned out. Something is going to be lacking somewhere. Mm-mm. Nope. So think about that. Nothing is achieved without kisa, work. Kisa means what in Creole? Ou pa ka acheve anyen sou pa travay di. I got to say this in Creole. I don't think I've done any Creole speaking on the podcast. But pou kapab aten yon rev, yon resultat, yon bagay, ke ou bezwen sikse la dan ou de travay pou li. Ou pa ka chita ap tan, epi ou di demen. Tout le ou chita, travay la pa fet. Se entre, travay. Se la dan pou gen sikse. Li mande sakrifis. Li mande determinasyon. Li mande pou toujou konsistan. Se pou kontinyelman ap fel. Ou dou kon fè cheve, yo pa jan mwe. Po diya yo pa wè moun nan, yo pa wanyen moun dou fel. Ou di, ou kon pentire, yo pa wè oken egzamp. Men, fò travay, kom pouve bladi, travay pou touche. Mete men ou nan pat la. San se pa sa, pap gen sikse. E nou tout pa ka nan menm nivou. Tout moun pa ka boss. E moun ki boss la, fò li kapab entraîner moun ki an bal la, sou pa ka entraîner moun nan ki jon fè boss. E so pou haye un moun pou entraîner moun nan. So ou pa ka aten anye, non? Si ou pa travay. Te sa mwen vle di ya. Creole pale, Creole kompon. Basically, I went over what I said in a nutshell. If you say you're a hairstylist, nobody see your work. How then can you get clients? If you say you're a painter, but there's no samples of houses that you've painted, you're not consistent, you're not dropping stuff, nobody sees it. Word of mouth is good. But once you want to accelerate that and you want to always have work, you have to be consistent. You have to post. You have to do ads. You have to keep going. You have to call people. You have to stay in their inbox. You have to keep calling, hey, does anybody need work? And yes, we all can't be the boss. Because sometimes they're just showing you and you already feel like you already know more than the person who hired you. And even someone who owns a job, most people has already perfected it, and that's how they have their company. They didn't just come out and say, I'm going to do banking and no banking skills. I am going to be a mortgager, but no skills in that field. They learned it. Then they can hire people who can continue to train. So that's basically it, right? Nothing is achieved without work. Nothing. Nothing. Nada. Nothing. So I want to encourage you. I do. I want to encourage you if you're feeling, oh, maybe I made the wrong decision, all the different things that you've done. I want to encourage you. You're on the right track. Keep going. Remember why you started. Remember your goals. You might just have to start with a team of 1. And then you can add. Okay? So it's going to take a lot of sacrifice. but you must be determined. But you need to really be passionate about it, because there's no determination if you're not passionate about what you're doing. I'm sorry. If you don't believe in what you're doing, how can you convince me to believe you? You have to believe it. And through your determination, I can see it because you're constant. So these are the different things that we have to look at as we are continuing this way. Amen. So I will end here with you on today. And this has been Emerge and Empower, a moment to empower you. I hope I did. Let's get some feedback. Let's get some feedback. Let me know how this was for you. All right. And see you next time. Mm-mm.